Y'all check this out.
Evody, there's not enough tops. There's not enough tops? When was the last time you bought it for a femme top? A soft top? A nerdy top? Y'all only want to buy it for straight men. That's the problem.
The girls have been looking for tops, but I think maybe we found them. We are finding out if the top drought is real tonight on Dear Black Gay Men podcast, and the show starts right now. What up, though? I am Jay the Gentleman. That's at JAI the Gentleman on IG. It's Thursday, so it's time for a new episode of Dear Black Gay Men podcast. It's still our short, bullshit-free step out of our comfort zone to talk about all the emotional ups and downs along the journey to happiness. Hopefully, this is our midweek reminder of how dope it is to be black gay men who love black gay men. I am what the girls would call a soft top. I like to do all the traditionally masculine things, but I also am fully a butch queen. I haven't been fucked in years, and I don't really have a whole lot of interest in being fucked, but I would for the right person, as long as they know how to handle my delicate flower. A fun fact, somebody once told me, he said I was a slut with my dick, but I'm a prude with my hoe. Thought that would get a laugh. Clearly it's not going to. Tonight, though, the DBGN family, we are going to be unpacking some content to see if the real tops are gone. Where did they go? And can Black queer culture get them back? Remember, if you've got an opinion on the topic, join us live on the show by going to livestream.dearblackgaymen.com. You can join me on the show at any time. Just click the link that's pinned in the comments to add your 2 cents. But first, it's time for church announcements. Hit it. Every week, I write about the ups and downs of my dating journey on our blog on Substack. It's a deep dive into my emotional and sexual trials while I manifest my man in 2025. You can join for free by clicking the screen now, or the link is in the description. I wrote about a Saturday hookup that I had. Have y'all ever had one of them hookups on a Saturday? A lazy Saturday where you don't have anywhere to be, and then you go somewhere and the sex is unseasonably good? Like, I had that. So I'll tell you a little bit of the backstory. So we went, I go into a lot of the backstory on this particular post, but just know it was good. So it was like 2:00 in the afternoon. I got over there. And next thing you know, this particular hookup, he likes it anon normally, but this particular time we did not do anon. The door was unlocked, and I climbed into bed with him. And because he needed to be held, he needed to be comforted and consoled. It was amazing. And the second that I wrapped my arms around him, I could feel his body loosen. I could feel everything about him just, he exhaled, right? And so now I'm fully ready for whatever is about to happen, because I know that this ain't the normal situation. Like, he needed something. His body was telling me that he needed something, right? And so this particular post that I wrote about was because I had to pick up on some cues that he was giving me, not in what he was saying, not in how we had sex, but in what his body was telling me. I had to figure some shit out and figure out how I could be present for him in this particular situation. I wrote about it. It was, I will tell y'all, the spoiler alert, the sex was amazing. It was great. You can click the screen to read about it, or you can join us on Substack at substack.dearblackgaymen.com.
Y'all clean out before y'all come to the club. Well, truth be told, I am a top. You see, it might not present it is, but guess what? Under these clothes is everything. Listen, if you need a top, this is the top. These are tops.
Now, I was going to chuckle this off as the girls kikiing outside the club, but then I read the comment. This one says, because what the fuck happened to real tops? They softer than me talking about tops. Crying, these are the tops we left with. And of course, fix it, Jesus. The girls will find new ways of playing out the same old tired problems that we've always had.
I've seen a lot of gay guys lately saying there's no tops, but there is tops. There's a lot of tops. There's a lot of tops. They're just femme.
It's no secret that queer culture just doesn't cut for femininity, and definitely not for femme top.
Listen, if you need a top, this is the top. These are tops.
But gay culture is dealing with the same problem that black culture has been dealing with for generations: hating women.
What's one lie that men in Atlanta need to stop telling? That they mask.
If you don't like being gay, just say that. The girls come with a little sugar in their tank. The girls come with a little painted nail and a bag. And if you don't like it,
So, what you gonna do? Because I guarantee you can't beat me up.
we can draw a straight line between hating femme tops and hating women. We're telling culture that anything feminine doesn't matter when there's a problematic masculine alternative.
Where the hood niggas at? Where's the hood niggas at? Where's the trap niggas? You got to be selling that work, bitch.
Gay boys prefer DL trade instead of a butch queen with a crib car and a job. Straight men prefer baddies that put up with their bullshit instead of women that they have to get their shit together to bag.
It's always, oh, you so expensive, oh, you bougie, oh, you high maintenance, and never I see what you like, let me work harder.
America wanted a sex offender instead of an overqualified woman, then a felon instead of another even more qualified woman. And that's why we hate trans women. And low key, why we also hate trans men too.
So let me tell y'all how I got shot in the neck. Well, and in the back too.
A transgender athlete took first place in 2 out of her 3 events in California State High School Track and Field Championship.
There's no such thing as trans. There's no such thing as cis. There are mentally ill men who think they're women, and there are mentally ill women who think they're men.
Niggas work their asses off to be hard and masculine. So the idea that somebody they see as a woman can become masculine is threatening. But underneath all that, the real threat is we still see these men, transgender men, as women. And if they can transition into something that I've been working my whole life to be, then what does that make me? What is it about masculinity that's so fragile? I mean, if being masculine is about being tough, then why do niggas get so in their feelings about it when it's challenged? Or when other people that may not walk and talk like you can participate in?
Top! You see, it might not present it is, but guess what? Under these clothes is everything.
One thing is clear in black culture. You can't act like a woman. You can't be a woman. You can't previously have been a woman, and you can't transition into a woman and be enough. And for the gays, certain roles in culture should be filled by certain people. Men lead, tops are masculine, everybody else just doesn't matter.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
The best way to support what we do here on Dear Black Gay Men is to become a YouTube member. Members get access to exclusive conversations, the members only chat, behind the scenes content, and you can join me to chop it up on the show. And a portion of your memberships will be donated to an Atlanta area nonprofit providing HIV prevention and care in black gay culture. Just hit the join button below this episode or send a super chat of any amount. For all the latest updates, be sure to follow me everywhere on socials at JAI The Gentleman, especially Instagram and Threads. That concludes our church announcements. Please govern thyself accordingly. We will be right back. The show got good. I thought I was spicy vanilla, but tonight I've learned I'm deep into the extremist end of the kink freak spectrum. Then it got even better. He nutted. They asked me if he could pee in me, and I was nervous. What did it feel like? But it felt good. Live from the back room every Thursday on YouTube. Welcome back to Dear Black Gaming Podcast. I am Jay the Gentleman. That I know that queer culture has a limited definition of what top looks like. And from judging by the comments, couple comments that came in that I was like, oh, dope. Panthro said a guy that can figure it out is so hot. When I tell you, I don't know if this is a spoiler alert, but when I put my dick inside somebody, I can figure out your whole life story in like 2 seconds. Like I can see it. It's all painted in the room. Like my eyes are open to everything you got going on. And so when I go to entangle with somebody, whether it's a hookup or a like we in love or we've been in deep like or whatever, the person that I talked about in this particular post, I've been fucking him for at least a year. But when I put my dick in him even the first time, like I could see why he liked a non-sex. I could see why he wanted me to fuck him this day. I could feel what I was supposed to do. And I don't know if y'all remember, there was one dude on the show that was like, "That is absolutely ridiculous. I cannot believe it." And the fun fact is he was celibate though. And I was like, "Oh, you ain't had sex in forever. Clearly you don't know what I'm talking about." But the body will tell you exactly what it needs if you know how to listen for it. And I think that's my secret power is I know how to listen for what the body is telling me. Sometimes the body is telling me back the fuck off, you not the one. Sometimes the body is telling me go deeper, do this, touch here. But I listen intentionally to what the other person's body is telling me. And I think that's why my sex is good because my dick ain't huge, my ass ain't that fat, even though I don't use it, and my body ain't the best, but somehow or another I can create a vibe with the person. And I will tell you, every single time that I have committed myself before I got there, before I walked in somebody's house or before they walked in mine, if I just commit myself to figuring them out, best sex that he or I have ever had together. Kev said, not painted in the room, not painted like shitty kitty. I mean, painted like it's on the walls. It projected in the room. I should say that it's projected in the room with a projection screen. But yes, Benjamin Johnson says, I agree, Jay. The body language during sex says it all. The body language will say what your mouth doesn't have courage to say. That's the key. Body language isn't just talking for talking's sake. The things that you are not vulnerable enough to say with your mouth, your body has already communicated. And I think sex gets better if the other person knows how to listen to it. And it's not just tops that have to listen. Bottoms have to listen too. Because tops are saying things through their dick, through their body, through their heaves and huffs, through their stroke. And a lot of people think that if I can just turn that off enough and deep dick him or dig in his guts, then it's good. When really, the better the sex is the more closely I am paying attention to what you're saying. Why is in this sentence, why is this a comma instead of a period? Why is this a semicolon instead of a colon? Why is this letter capitalized? If I'm paying attention on a molecular level to every word, every message you are sending me, that's when the sex goes through the roof. That is what I have learned in my 20 plus years of having sex in these streets is people are communicating and my job is to listen even when I've been the bottom. Now I will tell you, because I'm a horrible bottom and I do not do it that often, I don't know how to listen when I'm taking dick. I don't know if I've ever listened when I'm taking dick. I don't know if I've ever had good sex when I'm taking dick, but I can guarantee you when I'm giving it, and it's not just I ain't had no complaints. It's I qualify sex as we are more connected when we finish. We are more in tune with one another when it's done. And the person that I'm talking about in this particular post, fun fact, I'll tell you a quick story before I get into the show. But the person that I'm talking about in this particular post, I didn't know, he follows me on Instagram because we only connect sexually. So I didn't know he follows me on IG. Secondly, I didn't know that he's been to our events. Cause again, I see him when he's ass naked, face down, ass up in the bed, a non-scene. I know what he looks like. We not everything is a non, but he has been to the live shows. He has been to one or more live shows. And so he was like, "Oh, I found you years ago, 3 months before we started fucking because and I'm looking like, damn, that is you." Like I was scrolling through pictures from a live show. It was our first live show was in 23, so this was in 24. I'm scrolling through pictures from the event and I was like, "Yep, there you go right there." Standing 2 feet away from me cuz that live show was like Sally Jesse Raphael and I was in the audience with the mic standing 2 feet away from me, sitting right here. Little did I know 4 months later we would start beating each other back in. It was very interesting. Baran says, "You better preach, Uncle Jay." See, Baran, I don't know if it's just because you say it or what, but that Uncle Jay, it gets my nipples hard. Ugh. Something about that Uncle Jay, hearing adults call me Uncle Jay. adults that I'm not related to. Because I do have a niece and a nephew, and my niece calls me Uncle Jay. My nephew is, he's not even 2 months old yet. No, he'll be 2 months old on Monday. But something about hearing a gay man call me Uncle Jay, it does it for me. You better preach. I listen to My Partner's Body as if it's a Beyonce album. I don't listen to it like it's a Beyonce album. Listen to it like it's Sade. Listen to it like it's Jill Scott Volume 1. Listen to it like it's Lizelle and E flat. Like, don't listen to it like we about to move your body. Listen to it like I'm vibed out with my AirPods in, with the noise cancellation turned all the way up, having me a moment. Listen to it like I'm trying to figure out the chord changes. That's how you should listen. Listen to it like I gotta play this back in a minute. That's what I would say. Or at least that's how I be doing it. Winter Menace. Hey, Winter Menace. Being on the spectrum of asexuality has showed me that we add way more value to sex than it is. I would disagree. I think that, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I am not asexual, obviously. But I think that when sex is not a foundational component of connection, then yes, it might have a lot less value for you, because conversation or non-intimate touch or quality time or other things may be a lot more valuable to you. But there are some of us whose sex is a very high value transaction between two people or more people. And for me, I'm one of those. Sex is a very high value transaction. So A, I'm not having it without intention. And B, I'm also a lot more mindful of the energy I'm giving and receiving when it's happening. So I agree that for some of us, sex is very low value. And I think the piece that I do agree, Winter Menace, is there are a lot of people in our culture that have not made a decision for themselves where on the value scale sex is. And because queer culture makes sex high value, then we just assume it's high value for us. And I think that might be the journey that you have taken that a lot of us have not, is being able to parse through, how do I like other people, if at all, without the sex? Because that is how I figured out how important sex is to me, is I dated people without having sex, and I realized that the connection didn't light up until I put my dick inside them. Panther says exactly, it's the connection and the energy. Winter Menace, he followed up. This is also a problem with black gay men, is that we refuse to expand our existence beyond fucking. Exactly. That's what I was saying. I think the long journey that you have had, Winter Menace, is you have been able to experience life without sex and sexuality. And so you're making different decisions for yourself than a lot of us have. I have done such a journey for myself to figure out that sex is a very, very high value transaction for me. But my experience is mine, and I don't want to make it seem like my experience is everybody's, or everybody's experience should be like mine. Most of the episodes of this podcast is about fucking or revert back to sex in some way. We just did a whole week's worth of content about pride, and we didn't talk about sex, or did we? Yeah, we did. Did we? Maybe. I won't disagree with that point. No uncle for me. Real shit with Darren T says, so are you ENM? ENM when you're in a relationship. Ethical non-monogamy. Ethical non-monogamy? Yes, I am not a monogamous person. Hey Kev, Winter Menace. Whole bunch of comments came in. And Mr. H said, pride is all about sex, especially ATL pride. Nah, I'm with you when you're right. Because we talked about a whole lot of I was about to say something that I'll keep to myself. Okay, teammates. The fun fact is we had this whole conversation about sexual positions. The whole show is about if tops are here. So we're reacting to some content from across the internet to see what the girls are saying about the supply of tops in our culture and the top to bottom ratio. The first is GB Got It. Y'all seen the dude on Instagram and TikTok? He be like, listen, and he is like the Prince of Atlanta. He has gone to just about every gay club that is a regular staple here, and I love his content. He was at he went to Atlanta-based gay club called the Marquette. Drop something in the chat. Say yes in the chat if you have been to the Marquette here in Atlanta. I want to know how many of us have been to the Marquette, because I have been to the Quet. I do not know that I will go back, but I have been. There was this club in Dallas where I'm from called Elm and Pearl. The Marquette is Elm and Pearl, and Elm and Pearl was for most of us was the first gay club you ever went to. It was absolutely necessary in gay culture. Benjamin Johnson said 1 top to 500 bottoms is the ratio. We shall see. Let's check this one out.
Y'all gotta put a towel down.
No, ma'am.
It don't get wet?
I gush. Put a towel down for what?
For the waterworks.
But for what? What we put a towel down for? I only put a towel down. I would think if you wasn't clean. I mean, I clean out.
I'm gonna put a towel down. Because if it's creamy, I want a cream on.
Stop right there. So, do y'all like it creamy? The funny thing is, again, now I'm all self-conscious, Winter Menace. Gotta be all self-conscious about what I'm asking but we are talking about the top to bottom ratio. So I gotta talk about sex this time. I hope I don't make you uncomfortable. But if I do, send me a DM and let me know. And I will listen to it. I'm not trying to say that in a dismissive way. But like, one thing I will say about sexuality is I think that we gauge what good sex is based on some things that are arbitrary at best. Like people say it's good if it's creamy, or if it's good if he got grip, or if it's good where is the connection in any of that? That is what I'm really curious about. Do y'all feel like gay culture puts enough emphasis? Maybe this is the question that you're getting at, Winter Menace. Do y'all feel like gay culture puts enough emphasis on the connection between the people, or is it just in how our bodies react to one another? Do we even have language for what connection during a hookup, or what connection during an entanglement would look like? Or is it all just, it's good if you got a big dick. It's good if you got a tight hole, or not a tight hole, or if it's good if you got a fat ass, or if you got a big body, or if he's cute. Like, do we ever figure out how our bodies work together, how our energies work together, or is that even a consideration? Do y'all think that we have language for that in our culture? Winter Menace added, femtops get excluded from the top ratio. It's actually more tops if y'all didn't discriminate against fats and femmes. I think, now, granted enough, let me double tap there, Winter Menace, because I'm a co-sign on what you're saying. Here's the gotcha. Couple things happen when we use these top to bottom ratio conversations. The first is our definition of bottom can be very broad. If you a little too fishy, bottom. If you can be masculine, bottom, and those are coveted. You can be big dick, you can be a big body, you can be a whole bunch of versions of bottom. But our version of top is this one little sliver here. You got to be a drug dealer, you got to be trade-ish, you got to be masculine with a deep voice and a big body and a big dick, and you gotta make a lot of money. You gotta also have a dope ass car, or be toxic with no car, living in your mama house, sleeping on the air mattress in the basement. Like, those are the only versions of top that we'll accept. And mind you can't never ever take no dick. Like, that's the only version of top that we allow ourselves to experience. And so what happens is you exclude anybody who does not fit this narrow definition of tops, like Winter Menace is saying, and we also exclude anybody who takes dick is in addition to giving it. Because I will tell you, the best ass and the best dick of my experience has been somebody who does both. And so when we say this top 50 tops for 50 bottoms for every one top, but it's like 1,000,002 verse niggas out there. And on top of that, it's a quadrillion feminine boys that y'all don't even want to look at. But we only focus on 50 whatever kind of bottoms because we have a very loose definition of that to one hyper masculine daddy of a top. And I think that is where our culture is so lopsided. And so when you say shit like it's 50 tops to 50 bottoms to every one top, I'd be like, you missing the best part of culture. Like, and the irony is when I hear that from people, they're not even included in those numbers. People be saying 50 bottoms to every one top, and the person saying it is verse. Okay, so where are you at, bro? Where are you at in the equation? Winter Minute said, all these sexual preferences, child, how the hell do we even get to you being a Trump supporter or transphobic or being homeless? Now you said LOL after that, but you spitting bars now, Winter Minutes. I'm on your roll, friend. Like Benjamin Johnson says, I don't agree. When I said top, I meant all tops. I personally love femme tops because they were some of the best sex partners. Fair. Marlo says, if you're a top who likes dick, wouldn't that make you verse? Okay. So you blending together a couple things with this one, Marlo, because the question is, if you're a top who likes dick, would that just make you verse? I don't know. Because a part of me is saying, if I say I'm a top, then, you know, all the identity politics that we play, a part of me is saying I should just accept you say you're a top. I believe you believe that. But if you also like dick, then in my head, yes, you are verse. So I'm like, ooh, I don't know. Cause like the evolved person, the evolved, community leader that people say I am tells me that you are whatever you say you are. And I need to respect that. The other half is, but nigga, what are we doing? Who doing the bending? Who doing the bending? We had a conversation a couple weeks ago with Uche Onwa. He is a Nigerian immigrant. And he was talking about being fetishized and how some people talk about, will slide in his DMs being like, ooh, give me some of that African dick or mandingo or all these very derogatory terms, thinking that it's going to turn him on, right? And what he told me, though, is, yeah, I want to correct it. I want to, help people evolve and all of that. But when my dick is hard and you got a good hole or my hole is thriving and you got some big dick, you just kind of glance over all of these nuances to a degree. Now, I still have my hard boundaries. Like, I ain't never going to deal with somebody who's in a race play. That's just not my thing. I know that there are people who are into that. I ain't never going to be that guy. But like certain things, I'm like, okay. Another hard boundary for me is I don't deal with anybody who uses terms like clean and dirty or DDF or and I don't deal with people who ask me if I'm masculine. Because the answer is no. I'm not masculine. No. DDF. Are you DDF? No. Even though I am HIV negative, I am not on drugs. But if you ask me if I'm DDF, the answer is no. If you ask me if I'm masculine, the answer is no. If you ask me if I'm clean, the answer is no. I'm going to say the most socially unacceptable version of answer to these dumbass questions every single time. And that's just me. Let's keep going.
Do y'all clean out before y'all come to the club? Well, truth be told, I am a top, so I don't have to clean, but I am clean. A top! You see, it might not present it is, but guess what? Under these clothes is everything. So you don't bottom at all? No, not really. Not really with these ass, though. Listen, if you need a top, this is the top. These are tops. The soft top, baby. You a top too? Ah! Where's the the wildest place that you ever linked at?
Ooh, the wildest place I ever linked at was probably in the church basement.
That's a good one. Where is the wildest place y'all ever linked at? Mine is on the dance floor of Bulldogs. Because, and again, Winter Menace, my apologies if this is offensive, but we talk about, this is the sex show, so my bad. But I will tell you that a lot of times people get caught having sex in obscure places because they want to go somewhere and have privacy. And that's how you get caught. Like, I can't tell you how many people have been escorted out of Bulldogs for trying to fuck in the bathroom or trying to fuck behind a bar or trying to fuck somewhere and they're just in the stall too long or they're wherever. But if there are hundreds of people on the dance floor and we all grinding on each other, the ass of my pants to crotch, and one person just happens to have a dick inside them, you're never going to get caught. Nobody's ever going to look at you and be like, are they fucking? I'll tell you the story. So I'm at Bulldogs for my birthday. I was turning 35. Wait a minute. Panthro said the dance floor. Holla at your boy said he had an experience at where at Felix? Is this the Felix in Atlanta? Where at Felix? So for those who don't know, Felix is this little bitty hole, like the bar is about the size of this table. It's a tiny little spot. And we pack it out because they have like a big boy night where it's called Plump. That's what it's called. It's called Plump, and it's so much fun. It'll be like games, and it's a bar, and it's good music, and the vibe is great, right? But you go through the kitchen, and there's like this real narrow patio, and you gotta like be by people to get by. Like, that's how close you are. But the outside part is fully lit, is the lights are on. The inside part is, a bar, but the outside, you go through the kitchen, the lights on, and outside the lights are on. Where in Felix did you go? Again, Panther said, somebody said on the steps of the church. Really? Y'all are kind of lit. Okay, let me tell you my story about the Panther said he got fucked in a club bathroom. Okay, I'm here for it. Mine was on the dance floor. I was there for my birthday. My best friend. Oh, thank you, Winter Menace. Thank you for saying that. He said it's a show for black gay men. I'm not offended. I like this show. Thank you. Okay. But my best friend drove me to the club and we met several people there for my 35th birthday. And I just happened to be on that night. Thursday night at Bulldogs, it'd be packed. Packed, like door to door, wall to wall, packed. And there was a dude and he was wearing like this shirt. It was like a duster, but it was shredded in the back. And from the front, it looked like he was just sagging. The boys had their full ass out, but they got drawers on. And I took a closer look, and he had no drawers on. He's sagging, full ass on display, no drawers on. But by this time, I'm already tipsy. So clearly he was fishing for something. He came to the spot fishing for something. And again, if he fished for something, I'll bite. So I do a lap, I do another lap, and eventually we outside on the patio of Bulldogs, and I'd be like, okay, I'm going to take a walk. I stopped at the bathroom. I actually used the bathroom. I went to the dance floor. I did a lap, and he pulls me in. We are in the middle of the dance floor. And the only reason I remember that is because the Bulldogs has vents, and like certain parts of the dance floor, you get hit by the vent, and it's just like this refreshing, cool air. We are on the dance floor in the middle of the dance floor, fucking down. Just getting it in. Not one person batted an eye. You could have been, there was somebody dancing here, there was somebody dancing here, there was somebody dancing in front of him. Somebody actually came and danced with him while we are having sex. It was so interesting. The fact that I don't know if anybody knew. It wasn't like my pants were on the floor. I just had my dick out and and I fucked him through whatever that shredded duster thing he is that he had on. It was great. I loved it. Okay, we got somebody joining the show. I think I got somebody joining the show. Hold on.
Hello.
Hey, what's your name? Where you from?
Hi, my name is Andy. I'm
Hey, Andy.
from Boston, Massachusetts. How are you?
Hey, Andy from Boston. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm unbelievable. You got a question or did you want to have a comment to add?
Yeah, so I do agree with you that in terms of like, there's a very narrow definition, of tops.
Yeah.
But my whole thing with being like in the gay community is that like, everything is not for everybody. So like if people are looking for like a masculine top, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. Like, just like people want masculine bottoms or feminine bottoms. Like, I think people should be who they are authentically, and then
Mhm.
people should, and then whoever is interested in you, you do that. Now, people may not like that, but forcing people to be with people they're not attracted to or think or doing things they're not comfortable doing, I think that it sets people up for to be disappointed or and not be fully fulfilled in what they're looking for. If you're looking for a masculine man or a feminine man, but society tells you that you need to be more open minded. Yes, but what if you're just not into like femininity? A lot of gay men are not into femininity. They want to be feminine, but they're not into femininity. And I think that's
Are you? Is
fine.
that your attraction? Are you into masculine men?
I'm into masculine men. Men that are openly gay, so I don't do DLs. That's
Okay.
done. I don't do DLs, but that is done. Been there, done that.
Love that.
But
Go ahead.
men that are more masculine, but that doesn't mean hyper masculine. That doesn't mean not in touch with your emotions or anything like that. But that just means stereotypically masculine. You're into stereotypically things that are deemed masculine. I don't think that's necessarily a problem, just like some people prefer
Like,
femininity.
hold on. Let's double tap there. What? Give me an example of something that's stereotypically deemed masculine.
So like clothing,
Okay.
for instance. Like me right now, I know I look very mass, but like my day to day, I'm very feminine. I like to wear boots, I like to wear purses and stuff like that. I probably wouldn't date somebody that also has a purse.
Okay. What about a bag?
Like a backpack. Like a
Okay.
backpack or a man, something that's more, they have, I understand they have male versions of purses or gear. That's fine. I'm dating gay men, so my litmus test of femininity is not as strict as like something for like a DL man. But I always like, would I date a man that's as feminine as me? Most likely not.
Okay.
That's just not, that's not something. But I don't expect bruteness. I don't expect men to pass as straight, but on average, yes, I would like a man that's more in tune with his femininity. Just like I don't want, because I feel like on the opposite side of that, I feel like a lot of gay people in gay culture, there's this push to be versatile and to be diverse in your gender presentation. Everybody, that's not everybody's story. All gay men are not verse. Some gay men prefer to be more feminine, and that's okay. Just because I'm a
Well,
man, a
hold on,
cisgender
but I
man.
want to make sure that we're not blending things together because you can be masculine, feminine, or whatever, and be top, bottom, or whatever. Just because you are feminine does not make you does not. I don't think we have to assume that you're a bottom,
So yes,
unless
so
unless
I
that
think,
unless
but
that
there
does align
is.
for you,
But there
right?
is a, of course, I understand there's fin tops, there's masculine bottoms, but let's not act like people. We judge based off sight. We do
Yes.
judge based off gender expression. Like that would be, it would be ignorant to act like that's not what we do. If somebody is like looks like a straight acting DL man, you're not gonna automatically think, oh, he's a bottom. Could he be? Yes, he could
No,
be.
but friend, that is not my experience. Like my experience when I fuck with DL men, every single one
Hmm.
of them was always a bottom.
Okay, that's not my experience.
Because but it's also because and granted enough, they were all straight passing. They were all,
Okay.
some nigga from the street because that is how I picked up DL men back in the day. But my
Hmm.
experience is
Right.
colored by the fact that I don't get fucked that often. Could you see that
Okay.
your experience could be colored by the fact that perhaps you're the opposite?
Well, yes, like I understand that how I'm perceived there is gonna be an assumption that I'm a bottom, or I'm because I'm feminine, because of what I'm wearing, I'm a bottom. Does that mean I can't top? Of course not. I understand there's feminine tops. I've met
Yeah.
feminine tops, and I think they have a right to exist. I don't think they should conform. Just because you're feminine doesn't mean you should bottom. I
Well, no,
agree
I don't
wholeheartedly.
think that, or at least the conversation that I'm trying to have about with culture, all of
Hmm.
us included, is not to say that one version of being is right versus wrong. I do think though that as gay men,
Right.
we could stand to broaden our definitions of some of these words a little more. Because
I agree.
you say that you say that you present very feminine, in your day to day. And in
Yes.
my head, I don't assume anything beyond that. You a feminine, like if you told me you was a top, I'd be like, oh, okay, dope, go in, let have. And the
But is that generally is that generally the assumption?
No,
Exactly. And I feel like
I
that's
had to
okay.
unlearn a whole bunch. I had to unlearn a whole bunch of shit in order to be able
Right.
to see people for more than just a sexual position.
Right, but like I said, we look at gender expression and we kind of gauge what you might be into, and I think that's okay because I remember you said earlier, like when people ask you, like a lot of people in the gay community ask people like what their position is, and
Mhm.
for me, I always wonder like what to me that there's a little bit like kind of like self hate in that because if you're a bottom, why not just say you're a bottom? If you're a top, why not just say you're a top? If you're verse, why not say you're a verse? Is that
Mhm.
because you may be rejected because of your position? What's wrong with just stating what you are, what you're looking for, and if that person's not interested, then move on. Like a lot of people tell me,
Because
I'm not
people
interested
don't.
in
Because people
femininity.
are people are afraid of rejection.
Right, but
People don't
there's nothing wrong with being a bottom, and I think a lot of people in the gay community do have shame with saying I'm a bottom.
Yes,
I
I
like to
do
be
agree.
penetrated. And so they try to mask it up and put different words in it to just be honest. Say it's okay for you to be a bottom. It's okay for you to be feminine if that's what you are. You don't
Yes,
have to mask it. But there's a lot of masking because there is a lot of hate. There's a lot of
yes.
misogyny and internalized homophobia within the gay community. So that I do agree with.
Y
So.
Yeah. I mean, we on the same page now, and I'll take it one step further, is I think that a lot of times when you're looking at, like, dating profiles, people won't say, "I'm a bottom," they'll say, "I'm not a top." Or people won't say, "I'm a top," they'll say, "I'm not a bottom." Because
Mm,
for some reason, what they
the
think
stigma.
those things look like and who they are to them don't line up. Like, a lot of
Right.
people assume that bottom means feminine and submissive and all these
Right.
other things that it may or may not mean, or
Right.
that top means hard and masculine and all these other things that it may not mean. And that is one of the reasons why I say we just have some very, very narrow definitions of things. And I think that culturally we are
Mhm.
a lot more prone to lump things into being a bottom. Like if you take dick ever, you a bottom. Or if you
No,
have
I don't think
any
so.
sugar in your tank, you a bottom. Or if whatever, even though that's not appropriate for a lot of us. A lot of people, I've been called a bottom many, many, many times.
Hmm.
I'm not offended by that because I think bottoms run the world, but that's just me.
Right. What I know, I think that like if we're dealing with gay people, I would assume that people have tried like we're all gay, so we've tried everything. I would assume that. Now,
No,
if you
no,
tried bottoming, if you tried bottoming once or twice and it wasn't for you, would I identify you as a bottom? No, you tried it, it's not for you. But if you
no,
like
honey. That
both,
the people are scared to
are strict.
experience. They are
Yes.
scared to experience because they don't, because there are a lot of us, I would say, that are scared to take some dick because they think that it's gonna make me a bottom. And
But what if
not
they're just not into? I always like. What if like everybody is not a? I think it's interesting within the gay community. There's this like assumption that like everybody is a bottom until proven otherwise. Like that's not
which
true. Some
again
people are just
is,
not interested in
to me,
being
that's thinking
penetrated.
thinking. It's thinking thinking, but that's just me. Again, I have a whole podcast, so I get to talk to people about this all day, every day.
Yeah.
But I would say that uh, one thing that I would stick on rather is our culture just has some very limited definitions of things. And so
Of
we end
course.
up either forcing a title or forcing a descriptor on somebody that may or may not apply, or we end
But
up excluding a whole bunch of people from a definition when it really does. Like, we don't like to see feminine top,
mhm,
butch queen all
right,
put together.
right. But I try to destigmatize it. Like I've worked very hard. Like people try like turning misogyny or femphobia or homophobia and turn like when people say like you're feminine, you're a bottom. I say absolutely I am. Nothing wrong with that. Like take I think that's I don't think it's the act. I think it's the stigmatization and the inferiority complex and the discrimination that comes with being a bottom, being feminine,
Yes.
being flamboyant. So
Yes.
that I try. Well, there's nothing wrong if that's what you like. I don't yuck other people's yum. If you wanna dress up in hair and nails and purses and top, that's your prerogative. But everybody is also not also gonna be interested in that. Just like a lot of people are not interested in me because I'm feminine and I wear purses and I wear hair. Like people like what they like, but I think there's a lot of stigmatization that comes with certain things in the community, and masculinity is the prize, unfortunately, in the gay community, especially the black gay
To a lot of
community.
us. To a lot of
Yeah,
us. Not me,
but I
but
agree
to a
that we
lot of
do
us.
need to open up the what it means to be masculine, what it
Oh,
means to
I thought you were
be.
going to talk about open up something else. My
No,
bad.
no, no,
My
but
bad.
open up what it means to be masculine because I do think it is narrow, especially when you add race into it and
Yes.
colorism. Like, there's that expectation that, like, the darker you are, the more masculine you have to present. There's a lot of racism and colorism that comes with that in the black community, and we don't allow black men to be feminine unless they're lighter skinned and you know that thing. So I do agree that everybody should be allowed to be who they are, and and we do have to stop stigmatizing feminine things and stop using in like as gay people we use what the straights do. Oh, you're gay, you're a bottom, you're a F word, all those things, and it's like we're all gay. It's a lot of internalized homophobia.
Homophobia. Yes.
So
Yes. I appreciate you so much. I got some more people that are waiting to share their 2 cents.
okay,
I appreciate you so much. Tell me your name one more time.
Andy.
Andy, if I'm ever in Boston, I'm going to
Yes.
look you up, okay?
Okay, thank you. Have a
All
great
right.
day.
Of
Thank you for having me.
course.
Bye.
Okay, teammates, we got another one waiting. Let's see what we got. Hey, teammate, what's your name? Where are you from? Hey, Baron. I can't hear you, though.
You can hear me?
I can barely hear you.
Okay, I'm gonna try to turn up the
There we
volume.
go.
Okay, is it better now?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So I pretty much agree with everything and Andy said. I just wanted to comment specifically on my fellow bottoms in the community because they are the one who don't realize, especially the femme bottoms, they are often the most misogynistic when it comes to the way they view tops, especially if they are dealing with another femme top. They don't even realize how misogynistic their view is because just because he's feminine, that they cannot view him as a top, or just because he's softer, they cannot even respect him as a man. Therefore, they cannot respect him as a top. At least from my perspective, I identify as verse, and I would say I'm a butch queen. And whenever I try to fuck one of those bottoms, it's like I gotta put on like a different persona just to get in that ass.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And so let's double tap on a couple of things here. You said that femme bottoms might be some of the most misogynistic. What do you mean by that?
Because they are so quick to try and strip other men of their masculinity, of their top identity, just just because they have feminine qualities. Or uh, someone said before in the chat, they asked if you're a top but you like dick. Are you really a top or are you verse? You can like dick but not want to take dick.
I'm one of those.
Yeah,
I
you
love
like
I
sucking
love a
it.
penis. I mean that's the best part. No, that's not a bit the best part of a man. But it's top 10.
Yeah,
I love a
sucking dick
dick.
feel good. Sucking dick feel good. So if you
Why'd you have
like
to put on
dick,
a different voice when you said that, Biron?
yes, Uncle
Your
Jay.
voice went straight. You went down 2 octaves when you said sucking dick. Feel okay. Okay, let me leave that alone.
Yeah, I like sucking dick, Uncle Jay.
Oh, I mean, oh, okay, fair. So, but let me ask you this. So, do you think let's if we take out sexual position out of it, do you think we affirm femininity in a way that can see their manhood? Or do we think of, or in queer culture, do we just think of feminine people as women?
Yes,
So
yes.
so if I
I think
mean
we
to that
give that
end,
preference to women.
if a femme bottom we all see as a woman, and then a femme top we all see as a woman, then I don't think we're respecting either of them, are we?
Yeah, I think, but femme bottoms usually place themselves as the women, as the in the woman place in the heteronormative
What do you
dynamic.
give me an example of that? When you say they place themselves in the women's role, give me an example of what you mean by that.
They want to be courted, they want to be pursued, they want to be taken
Oh,
care of,
okay. Yeah.
etc.
I mean, yeah, there's that. I
Mhm.
agree with that. I mean, okay. And so what so if we for everybody, because the chat is going crazy too, what do we do about that? Like now that we've identified that, what do we do?
We expand our definitions of masculinity and femininity, top, bottom, verse. We just stop trying to enforce our ideas and definitions onto other people.
But that is what Andy was talking about, because there are some people who are who just like what they like.
Yeah,
I get as a
is
culture we might want to expand a definition, but that's not going to change the fact that you are attracted to who you're attracted to. Does it?
yeah, that's not the problem. You can be attracted to what you are attracted, but stop blaming people for not fitting the description of what you are attracted to.
Okay.
If you like a super masculine top, don't blame the soft top for being a soft top. Just go look for the
Okay.
masculine tops.
Okay. I can get with that. So what you're saying is don't demonize people who don't fit into your preferences.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay. I can get see, it's cuz I listen. Your body was telling me something and I just had to listen for it. See,
Yeah,
you slide onto my show and next thing you know, your whole life is being projected on the walls. I can see it.
yeah,
That
definitely.
is that is good. Thank you so much, Baron. I appreciate you. Thank you for adding your 2 cents to the conversation.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
Of
you, Uncle Jay.
he did that one on purpose. He called me Uncle Jay. Okay, teammates. Again, you can go to livestream.dearblackgaymen.com to add your 2 cents to the conversation. Is it a top drought though? Because it feels like we're all saying some very different perspectives on whether or not tops actually exist. Andy said tops are where you tops some people just have a preference for masculinity or more masculine than me. Not me, but more masculine than whomever. And then Miran is saying don't demonize if you can like what you like, but you don't have to demonize or criticize people who identify as something else or express differently. But that neither of those answer the question. Do we just have fewer tops? Are there just fewer tops than years ago or generations prior? M- Marlo says no. Panthro says yes. Comic-Con asks, well, what do we do? We let those people enjoy their one top that they share with the neighborhood and everybody else just go on with their lives. Panthro, if I didn't own the TV screen that I'm looking at, I would throw something at it. I'm proverbially throwing my phone at you. Y'all ever seen that GIF on Instagram or something where he's like, "Give me your phone"? I feel that's one of those moments. I'd be like, "Give me your phone." Benjamin Johnson says, "Yes, it's a top drop regardless of what type of top." Romello says it's just fewer masculine tops. Holla at your boy says there are fewer tops. Amari Shakur says there are a lot of verse people. Okay, let me add this. Let me add this one piece of perspective from my experience. Hold on. Hold on. Andrew, we about to come back to this. Y'all read that while I'm explaining it because I'm gonna come back to it. But when I came out of the closet in 2002, and my closest friend at the time was older than me, but not I mean, I was 20, he was 35. When he came out, it was 1990. And at the time he came out, started going to the clubs and was coming into the scene, like the only choice you had was top or bottom. That's all you could be. Is just a top or a bottom. He didn't have a frame of reference. His mind didn't even allow him to consider what it would look like at the time for somebody to want dick and ass. Like all he knew from the time that he came out was there are only two kinds of people in our culture. There are tops and they're the men, and there are bottoms and they're the women. That was it. Then my generation comes out, me and one of my friends at the time, it, we were all like, I called him my gay dad, but we came out, but we were gay at the same time. And there were I was verse top, my friend was a bottom, but this whole verse concept was just so newfangled and novel at the time. We was like, there's so many verse niggas because people realize, oh, I can like both some hole and some dick. I can like the full man. And I wonder, are we just experiencing the evolution of that, where everybody has the option of liking multiple things? And perhaps the observations that we're making about fewer tops is because we're on the is that total some things are a dying breed of people. Because in my experience, I'm seeing a whole lot of oral tops who are top, but they love sucking dick, or bottoms who love eating ass, or butch queens who are top, or femme queens who are top, or masculine bottom. Like we just seeing a whole bunch of different ways that this thing is jumbled up, and like the old guard of masculine dominant total top and feminine submissive total bottom. That is what we're doing away with. Could that be possible? Is that possible? Y'all let me know in the chat. Andrew Hunter, and then I got a call waiting. Andrew Hunter said, "This is slightly off topic, but this is one of the reasons why I only entertain straight but curious men. They tend not to demonize me for being feminine or a bottom. Most queer men do, almost all. Now, the almost all, I don't know how feminine you are, but I will tell you that makes a lot of sense to me. That because we do not know how to affirm and appreciate femininity in our culture to the degree we could. And people that do have these very very heteronormative, very traditional views about how people interact. And so I have experienced that where I'm dealing with a DL man and you know, he is giving me life because he taking dick or whatever the case may be. Uh Kevy Kev said top drought, yes. Dick giver drought, no. That's a unique perspective. And I respect the all caps, even though I totally feel like you're yelling at me. Just kidding. It's extremely hard to keep the top title these days, and who cares at the end of the day because the gays are still fucking. Now, when I tell you no truer words have been expressed ever. Benjamin Johnson said, remember there are hella verse on top of bottoms competing for the same dick. I don't know if anybody's competing for my dick. And if they are, that's news to me. But heard. Unlimited said a lot of verse people who aren't good at one or the other. No shade, no tea. I love it how gay people, and this is just the way it happens. This is not singling you out, Unlimited. But I love how gay people will say this shadiest shit and followed up with no shade. I do it too. I totally do that all the time. Mr. Witty said, I'm toxic if I'm in a relationship. Even if we're exclusively one thing, I got to make them try to flip. I don't know that that's toxic. I think you are on a discovery mission. I call it an excursion. You're trying to figure out this thing. Now, the conversation that I have about trying to make someone flip is you must be very sensitive to tight holes and a little Picasso moment. Because if you walk into this situation, I just had Chipotle and you trying to make me flip, just know that, you dig in the dirt, you're going to get dirty. Now, all of this, as evolved as I am, Amari Shakur says, I'm strictly bottom. I don't know if y'all know this, but hearing a man say I'm a bottom is one of my triggers. Like if a man whispered, I'm a bottom, I almost thought Adam was going to do it when he was on the show. Excuse me, but if a man whispered, I'm a bottom in my ears, just know I might give you my social security number. Like you could get anything you wanted out of me if you could tell me, like if you could stand 10 toes down and mean that shit, I'm a bottom. And the irony of it is I don't really give a shit what you do in the bedroom. I dated someone who said that to me. That was part of our first real conversation. I was gonna marry him, not because he said I'm a bottom, but I was gonna marry him. And he said I'm a bottom, and he had this deep Southern accent from South Carolina. He said I'm a bottom, and I wanted to give that man everything I could. And fun fact, we took a trip to his hometown in South Carolina, and he was the last person to fuck me in 2019. The only reason I remember that is because it was right before the pandemic. But yes, hearing somebody say I'm a bottom is one of my triggers. Definitely, unequivocally so. Then, of course, Lynn Ray. Lynn Ray says I'm a bottom. It doesn't work if you text it. Benjamin Johnson says, Jay, stop it. You know you can get it. I would have my ring on your finger. All you got is space and opportunity, Benjamin Johnson. Fun fact, like I don't know what some of y'all look like because it's just like Benjamin Johnson. It's just a letter by your name. So I'll be flirting with y'all in the chat. Do not know what half of y'all look like. There was someone, I'll tell y'all this story before we take a break. But there was somebody who hit me up on no, he didn't hit me up. He was at Reveal and at Liberation Circuit Party this past weekend. And at Reveal, I'll tell you, I was high. I had been hitting my vape pen, THC vape pen, nothing too hard. But I hit my vape pen and I had like 3 whiskeys. And for anybody who wants to know, my drink is whiskey on the rocks. However, do not ever buy me a drink. I have to see the bartender make it because I had a run in when I was younger. I did not get roofied, but somebody tried. But saw him at the new party at Reveal, and then I saw him again at Liberation. And baby, when I tell you, did not recognize him at all. Like I really wish I could have recognized him, but I did not recognize him from any of these pictures. And he said, "Oh, you're Jay the Gentleman. I'll be watching the live show and I'll be in the comments." And I'll be like, "Hey." So if you come up to me if you come up to me in person, just know I will speak and I'll be cordial. I'll make sure I'm not rude because I'm just not a rude person. But y'all got to tell me who you are so I know who I'm talking to. Just so everybody knows. Unlimited T says, I'm a total top. My partner is a total bottom. Moral of the story: attract what aligns with you in all ways, and stop and drop the patriarchy. I don't let me because Unlimited said he's the king or queen of shade. So I'm gonna tread lightly here because I do not want to be on the receiving end of shade because I don't know how to read. But I do have a question for you. If you are a total top and your partner is a total bottom, wouldn't that be the situation that most aligns with the patriarchy? One of y'all does the sticking and one of y'all does the bending. Wouldn't that be the circumstance that the patriarchy would have us say is ideal? Or perhaps I'm misunderstanding the definition of the word patriarchy. Remember, y'all can join me on this live stream. We're going to be on here for a little while longer, but y'all can join me on the live stream at livestream.dearblackgaymen.com. One thing that I've learned is if you're going to join the live stream, first, you got to keep the window open and you got to watch the show in the window, or else when you click off of it, you'll leave. Second, if you're watching us on like streaming to the TV or watching us on a different device, you got to either mute or close the other device because there will be a delay. But you can join me on the live stream at any point. Livestream.dearblackgaymen.com. I was looking for a response from Unlimited. But okay. Marlo says, how many top, and I prefer a strict bottom. If that's the patriarchy, then it is what it is. I'm asking. Unlimited added patriarchy to the chat, and I'm trying to make sure I'm not confused on what the definition of patriarchy is. Melly Mel said patriarchy is more about the mindset behind it surrounding dominance and submission, I think. Okay, got it. All right, y'all. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Do you know your HIV status? When you do, you can take control of your sexual health. HIV self-tests give you the power to decide when and where to test. You just swab and stick it in the tube. Test in the privacy of your own space. You can set a timer, sit back, and wait. In as little as 20 minutes, you'll know your results. No matter your test results, you have a community waiting to support you.
I love being able to test where I want.
I love that it's confidential and quick.
You gotta love free.
It makes me feel empowered.
When I show myself love, I show my community love.
It's important to know my status.
It's important to know your status.
It's cool to know, you know?
If we all get tested, we can stop HIV together. Learn more about HIV testing, including free HIV self-tests at cdc.gov/HIV self-testing.
What up, though? Welcome back to Dear Black Gay Men. I am Jay the Gentleman. It's time to comment on some comments. Hit it. Okay. There are a whole bunch of comments. We got a lot of chat going on. A couple that I do want to talk about. The question that I posed before the break was about unlimited and patriarchy. And I'm going to ask everybody because, again, I think I've been I have not thrown around the word patriarchy, but I hear patriarchy in our culture a lot. And when you have like one person who's a total top and one person who's a total bottom, isn't that adhering to a patriarchal structure of relationship, or am I using it incorrectly? And Unlimited added patriarchy to the conversation, so I just want to make sure I'm getting clear on definitions. But Mr. Whitty said, I could never commit in total relationships because I get anxiety about the time I know I'm going to want to flip. It sounds like you're just saying you're versatile though, Mr. Whitty. And I don't think it's appropriate for a person who is versatile to commit to someone who's a total something, because that just means you're going to end up being unfulfilled, right? Benjamin Johnson said, I think you should look for what is compatible with you. Bottom line, uh, with you. Bottom line, whatever person is into. Got it. Panther say, yes, longer stream. While we're on the topic, Panther, since you added that to the chat, this show has been an hour long since the beginning of time when we first started doing it. And my goal is always to leave y'all wanting another show at the end of it. Like I want people to enjoy while we're here, and then I'll see you tomorrow. Is an hour long enough? I will make a sacrifice if y'all tell me an hour isn't long enough. Let me know in the chat. Is an hour long enough? As a matter of fact, I'll create a poll. Y'all can see that I started doing all this. Start poll. Is an hour long enough? Melly Mel says patriarchy is more about the mindset surrounding dominance and submission. Like when we're 10 years in, we still can't flip a little bit. Again, Mr. Whitty, I think you should just find you a nice little versatile gentleman. Because apparently, let the chat tell it, the verse gentlemen are falling out of the sky. Get you a little verse man. You'll be great. You'll love it. Okay, here, excuse me. Unlimited says, patriarchal ideas about dominance or hierarchy. Instead, we align with equality, communication, and partnership. In other words, stop and drop the patriarchy. Our intimacy reflects that balance. When I tell you that's so good, shout out to you, Unlimited. And and hopefully you're still here, Unlimited. And what I'm hearing you say, or what I think you're saying, is you were able to live in your truth as a whatever position, and you were able to either were attracted to or attracted someone who aligned with who you are sexually, and then you were able to focus on all the other things. Now, clearly I'm probably assuming a whole lot about that, but I think that a lot of us in queer culture are stuck in a space where we're not clear on who we are. And so becomes very difficult to attract what works. Like it's tops out here taking dick that can't just say I'm versatile or I'm a bottom or whatever. And so we can't find somebody who fits that. And the more that I was able to wrestle with and sit in the fact that I don't really like getting fucked, even though I'm super feminine sometimes. The more I was able to sit with that, the more I found people that were okay with how I carry myself and what I do and all the things, right? And the more I was able to appreciate another person. Just like when I developed a level of self-awareness around, the fact that I'm controlling and I'm get bossy sometimes, but I'm really submissive if you rub me the right way and all those things. I was able to find men that complemented that. But the hard part for me in dating though is now that I understand those things about myself, if you don't understand the same or have the same level of understanding about you, then we don't work. Like the last person, we were able to fit together, but he was a very dominant person. And I am generally a very submissive person, but he didn't want to just say I'm dominant. And so every time that he had to man the fuck up and take charge of what was happening, he couldn't. He couldn't take charge of the communication. He couldn't take charge of the fact that he fucked something up. He couldn't take charge of the solution and getting us back on track. Every time it was just he would fall down on the job. because he was running away from the fact that he was actually dominant, and that's what was the demise of our relationship. That was a lot. My bad. Lots of comments. Benjamin Johnson said, "No, Jay, an hour is not long enough." Marlo says, "You can go to 2 hours." 2 hours? Two? Shaka says that make you want to feel like a total bottom. I don't know what you were commenting on that one for. Mr. Witty says, "I'm versed, but not in a relationship. I know that's weird, but I usually date one or the other. But when I'm single, I'm versed." You can be in a relationship and versed too. You can be in a relationship and versed. Proudly Peculiar says, "It's subscribing to heteronormative relationship ideals. It's patriarchy adjacent." Okay. Shaka also says, "I'm versed, but my ex was versed too, but I only bottomed." How did that work? Like you only wanted to bottom, or he only gave you some dick? Like what was the backstory there, Shaka? Baran says, "The way we cut up in this chat, 2 hours might not be long enough. So do what you want. So do what you got to do." Got it. The irony is, but it's like 1 o'clock in the morning where Baran is. Now, great enough, at 1 o'clock in the morning, I am also doom scrolling. So there's that. Mr. Witty says, "I always say I'm the opposite of whatever you think you're best at because I do everything well." I have this spectrum of verse. Y'all want to hear it? Here you go. I call it the 4 different kinds of verse. There is the preferential verse, the 50-50 verse, the any way the wind blows verse, and fuck my mind and you can get my body verse. A preferential verse, those are your verse tops and your verse bottoms. They can do anything, but they prefer one lane or the other. I used to call myself a verse top until I had rounded out 6 years of not getting dick, and so I was like, "Oh, maybe I'm a top." Then there are the 50-50 verse. And these are the people that want everything in equal proportion. Maybe it's I want to flip fuck. I'm gonna fuck you today. You gonna fuck me tomorrow. But I want 1-1. Everything is a tie, right? Then there's the any way the wind blows verse, and that's what it sounds like you're saying, Mr. Witty, is I'm whatever the situation needs me to be. I can get if I get fucked here, I will get my rocks off and enjoy myself. I will be fulfilled topping you as well. But the any way the wind blows is kind of iffy because you have to be mindful of the difference between I want to please the other person versus what is actually going to bring me fulfillment. If I could go either way and be fulfilled, that's any way the wind blows. If I want to please the other person, that is a fuck my mind, you can have my body. And that is exactly what it says. If you can get in my head, then my body will agree. If I want to pleasure you, then I will do what's necessary. Those are the 4 kinds of bottom. There's 50-50, preferential, any way the wind blows, and fuck my mind, you can have my body. The 4 kinds of verse. Unlimited added, yes, exactly. As part of the LGBTQIA plus community, we create our own social rules. What matters most is finding alignment that fosters safety, balance, and respect. That's so good. Let's see what my poll is doing. Poll said, "Is an hour enough?" 47% said yes, 53% said no. Huh. Okay. I will take that under advisement. All right, teammates. It has been Holla at Your Boy said, "I'm preferential." Which side? Preferential versus top, preferential versus bottom. What do you prefer? That last comment came in. I will also add one of the reasons why Black gay men have trouble finding fulfilling relationships is because there's too much emphasis placed on sex and sexual positions. I said this earlier, and I'm going to say it again. I think that for some of us, there is too much emphasis put on sexual positions and sex. For me, though, sex is a very high value transaction. I enjoy connecting with my partner sexually. And so if our sex is off, then everything's going to be off to me. But I do think in our culturally, we put a lot of emphasis on sex and sexuality. And if you don't take the time to parse through what that means for you specifically, then you can just get swooped up into thinking that sex is important when it really isn't that important to you. And I think it was who was it? It was who was I talking about this with? It wasn't Benjamin. Early in the show, I was talking about this with a commenter. I forget the name. But I was saying, but he identifies as asexual. And so for him, he's walked through a very long journey of understanding the importance or unimportance of sex. For me, it still has a whole lot of value in a relationship. And I think each of us individually need to figure out how important sex is to our relationships and then live in that truth. Culturally, we'll make it seem as if sex is the be all end all, but it doesn't have to be. And a lot of us don't even realize that we have options in that way. All right, teammates. I appreciate you so much. This has been one of the best. One of the best. That was our show. I am Jay the Gentleman. We'll be right back here with another episode of Dear Black Gay Men Podcast, Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. For more exclusive content, you can join us on Substack at dearblackgaymen.substack.com. The link is in the description. I appreciate you all more than I can ever express. I will see you next time.